All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're going to roll up our sleeves and build our digital workbench. This is the absolute foundation you've got to have before you can even think about training your first machine learning model. So let's just dive right in.
So, you're ready to get into the really exciting world of machine learning, right? To find those hidden patterns and make some cool predictions. That is awesome. But before we can build anything amazing, just like a carpenter or a mechanic, we have to make sure our workshop is set up with all the right tools. Okay, first up, our most important piece of equipment is going to be the interactive notebook. If you're going to be a data scientist, think of this as your new best friend. It's basically your digital lab where every single experiment is going to happen.
So what is a Jupyter Notebook, really? Well, think of it like a living document. It's this really cool interactive space where you can jot down your notes and ideas, run little bits of Python code, and then see the results, like your charts, your tables, whatever, pop up right underneath. It's all there in one seamless flow. Now, a notebook is really built from just two main kinds of building blocks, or cells. On one side, you have markdown cells. That's for all your notes, your descriptions, your thinking process. And on the other side, you've got code cells. That's where the real action happens. That's for writing and actually running your Python code. This simple combo is what makes notebooks so incredibly powerful for just exploring and trying things out. All right, next up, let's talk about keeping our workshop nice and tidy. This is a pro-level habit that you should get into from day one. And trust me, you'll thank yourself later. We're going to talk all about virtual environments.
Now, you might be thinking something pretty logical right about now. Like, hey, wait a minute, why all this extra work? Why can't I just install all the tools I need one time and then use them for every single project? I mean, it sounds way simpler, doesn't it?
Well, that approach, it leads to some major headaches down the road. Imagine having just one giant, messy toolbox for every single job in your house. Pretty soon, one project needs an old, rusty screwdriver, but another project needs a brand new, fancy one. They start conflicting. And before you know it, your main Python setup is a complete mess and stuff just mysteriously stops working. It's a nightmare. And the solution to that nightmare is the virtual environment. Think of it exactly like we said, an isolated, totally separate toolbox for each and every project. It holds only the specific tools and the exact versions that that project needs. It keeps everything clean, organized, and completely conflict-free. Okay, enough theory. You see why it's so important? Now let's actually get our hands dirty and build one of these environments. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it step by step.
First things first, we create the environment. In your project folder, you're going to run a command that tells Python's built-in VNV module, hey, create a new self-contained environment directory for me right here. Then, once that's done, you run a second command to activate it, which is kind of like flipping a switch to turn on this specific toolbox for your current work session.
All right, our toolbox is built, but it's empty. And an empty toolbox isn't going to help us much, is it? So let's stock this thing with the essential power tools for data science.
Here's our starting lineup, the 5 essentials. We've got Pandas for grabbing and cleaning up data, Matplotlib for making all our cool charts and graphs, and NumPy for super fast math operations. Of course, the heart of our work will use scikit-learn. That's for the actual machine learning models. And last but not least, IPyKernel. That's the critical piece that lets our Jupyter Notebook talk to this new environment we just made.
And here's the best part. We can install all of them at once. It's so easy. Inside our activated environment, we just type pip install, followed by that whole list of packages, hit enter, and just let Python's package manager go to work. It'll go out, fetch, and install everything we need.
Okay, the tools are in the toolbox. Now for the final and most crucial step. We got to make sure everything is plugged in and working right. We need to run a quick test. Now listen up, because this is a really key step, and it's super easy to forget. We have to explicitly tell our code editor, we're using VS Code here, to use the Python interpreter from the virtual environment we just created. It's like pointing our notebook to the right toolbox for this specific job. So we can run a really simple test right in a code cell to make sure everything's hooked up. First, we'll try to import NumPy, one of the libraries we just installed. Then, let's ask it to create a random little matrix of numbers. And finally, we'll print out the first row. If this little bit of code runs without any big, scary error messages, we are golden. And just like that, you're done. If your code ran, your setup is complete. You now have a professional, organized, and really powerful workspace totally ready for your first machine learning project. You've done the hard part, the foundational work. Seriously, great job.
You did it. You successfully built the foundation. Your digital lab is clean, it's stocked with tools, and it is open for business.
So the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve? What data will you explore? What are you going to discover first?